going on? We're just right into it. Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? Hold on.
Go on. What? Oh, hello. I'm full screen. Are you gonna make me do the
All
music
right,
again?
all right. Hey, how's it going? My lighting wasn't fully on. I had to fix
Oh
that. All right,
man, you full screen me. I thought you was gonna get
I
me
did.
to try and do some music again, like I did
Would you
on
like to do some music?
No, I can't do justice
Okay.
to any of this. This music is pretty good, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
What's going on? It's a Star Wars shit show. I don't usually do this. This is usually Wade's job. Um, but Jay's not here. Wasn't able to watch Visions. I have not watched as much of Visions as I'd like to have. But we're gonna talk about episodes 1 through 3 here. I'm Sean. Hi, Dean. How's it going?
Hi, Dean. I'm sure. Hi, Sean. I'm Dean.
Oh, okay. Off to a
Doing
great
that, mix
start.
it up. Oh yes, getting my tea, my late night. It's like
Hey,
nearly
Manny, what's
midnight, and
going
I'm
on?
having tea.
Well, you know what? You know what? That's a great way to go. I don't know if this episode will be, if these will be as long as we normally go on these, because I don't know if there's as much to talk about. There might be. I don't know. There might be some crazy stuff to talk about here, but
Oh
yeah,
man,
we're gonna
there's
be
some
talking.
crazy stuff to talk about in episodes 4 through 7.
Well, episodes 1 through 3. I should. You know what? Dean, how about while because I'm not prepared at all, while I bring up the episode listings so I can go through that. Why don't you tell us, what was your level of excitement for this show going into it?
So I was pretty excited when I first heard about it. Then I was much less excited. I think I expressed this on another show that we did to find out that these were not going to be canon. Um, that
How do
bummed
you
me
feel about
out.
that now?
I feel differently about that now
Me
because
too.
it's not because my thing was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna give all these great animation studios a chance to play in the Star Wars universe, but it's not canon, so we don't really trust you with the Star Wars universe, really. Um, but the reason that this stuff isn't canon kind of seems to go a bit deeper than that.
It's
Um,
kind of crazy.
there's there's some stuff. I mean, the first two wouldn't necessarily upset things that much. Episode 3, though,
Was
were
fucking insane.
like, where would you put that? And I don't
I
want to say too much, but there's some episodes later on where
Yeah.
it's very vague as to where because it still sets them like vaguely where in the timeline,
Mm.
like where they could be. And later on, there's somewhere it's like it does tell you, but also it's like after the war or before the war
Yeah.
or when there was Jedi still, and it's like, yeah, but at what war, what period of Jedi? Um, but we'll talk about those ones later on. But yeah, like stylistically, the first episode, like that's not canon because if it was, we'd have to then like at some point we'd need to establish like exactly where in the timeline Star Wars universe just looked like ancient Japan, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So the
But
not
like
being canon lets them just really lean into the style. So that's what I liked.
and I liked it as well. I'm so glad they're not canon. I was actually thinking while I was watching we're only talking 1 through 3 for anybody jumping in chat, but when I jumped into the first episode immediately, because we've been doing What If every week, you and I over on Merc, which this is also live on Merc, I think, right now. Um, but we've been doing What If each week. I don't know how you feel. I'm so much happier with this, or at least the first 3 episodes, than I am with What If. I'm really glad that it doesn't have to fit into the canon. It doesn't
This
have to fit into a specific spot. It's
this is
just some
much better
wild
than what
shit.
if.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I from what I've seen, I like this a lot more.
Yeah, there's stuff, there's moments in some of these episodes where I am cheering and I am
Yeah,
losing my shit in a way that I haven't done probably since Boba Fett showed up in Mando
Mando.
season 2
Yeah,
when the oh I nearly said it when Boba Fett gets in his ship. Okay,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not going there, but and like he's dropping the seismic charge and he's putting on the
That's
armor, and
crazy shit. The
I
Emperor
haven't lost
has
my shit
returned.
over anything like that. And that's a lot of the time I find like anybody with the Marvel stuff or the Star Wars stuff, you lose your shit when it taps into the nostalgia, right? You're cheering when old characters are coming back in new ways and doing the things that you've always wanted to see them do. In this series, I'm cheering like a lunatic for, can I swear on this?
I don't care.
For fuckers that I don't even know.
I
I'm going to tell you the truth. I couldn't name you any of these main characters in any of these episodes, probably because I've smashed 7 of them in a day.
don't lose
But
your shit, please.
I am losing my shit over
Dude,
characters that I've got no connection to, but within the 20 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 18 minutes, whatever they are, you know, I am like getting seriously invested in some of these storylines. Like, where have these characters been? You know, where do they go next? You know, so in
yeah.
that aspect, it does bum me out that, you know, we're probably never going to get any of that unless they do like a season 2 of this, and maybe we can revisit
God, I hope they do a season two.
some of these
I
characters.
I really hope, man. I like from the episode 3. No, you know what? No, all 3 episodes, I'd watch entire seasons about those characters. I'd watch
Yes.
like I'd if they were like, all right, here's the fucking star. What are they called? The Star Wavers.
I
Yeah,
want to talk about those.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to
Okay,
talk
well,
about those.
but I'll just say my general thoughts on episodes 1 through 3 is if they made like we're doing a 10 episode season of all 3 of these, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll watch them all. Uh,
Yeah.
let's start with episode 1, the duel, which was made by it doesn't say for me. It doesn't say on this list which
Oh man.
studio did the duel. Um, that seems like a really big mistake to me. I don't know why you wouldn't have it
What?
right
What?
there.
What a fuck! What an actual load of
Okay, so
star shit.
it was Kamikaze Duga did the duel episode 1. Man, what a strong start to the series. Like
Yeah.
visually it sets the tone for the series immediately. Just and it starts off like okay, so I want to talk about first of all, love the theme. The little bit of music that plays when it Star Wars Visions shows up. You got some sound effects in the background. Love that. And then you open on the stars, which is perfect. It's Star Wars. Great way to start it. And then I think for the first episode, the stars were in color, kind of. Like it didn't look black and white. And then as it panned down, it shifted to being in black and white. And the film
Yeah.
grain like started to come in and it just set the tone immediately for that entire episode.
Man, it was so good. I thought that when it first started, I didn't see like the color fade thing that you're talking about. I, I clock in, we're in black and white, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, they're gonna do like this weird like intro thing of like where we start off as like feudal Japan and then we transition into the Star Wars universe. I thought they were going to do like, you know, just like a like part of the intro kind of thing where we was going to
Mm-hmm.
transition from the style that is it's influenced by, and then we were going to go into the stars. And it was after a few seconds like, no, we're in the episode. This is the
Yeah.
Star Wars, and they do this great thing where it just looks like, you know, very period Japan authentic to my white ass
Yeah.
knowledge. And then it's not until like we start seeing like these little glowing lights and we get like, you know, then we see like the dude stands up and he's what's the race called, the dude from Mandalorian,
Oh,
one
yeah,
of
yeah,
those
yeah.
dudes. And we see that, and then we like slowly introduce, then we see like the droid, and he's got like the
Yeah.
hay,
I
the
fucking
straw
love that
collar thing
droid.
going on, and we just slowly introduce like little elements of Star Wars until eventually we get that moment where the big fucking Walker thing just comes stomping
Yeah.
through the town, and then right then like we're in Star Wars now, like, but the Kurosawa is strong in this one. I'm telling you, like this is
And
like Ghost of Tsushima sci-fi edition. Watching
yeah. Oh,
this,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And like this episode, immediately watching it, I was like, I'm so glad this isn't canon because we got to get so into like Sith stuff in a way that we really can't do in the canon right now because they don't really have anything established with the Sith right now.
yeah.
So there was some stuff in episode 3 that kind of tied into Rise of Skywalker in a really weird way. Did you notice? You saw that?
I'm
We'll
not
get to it when
sure.
we get to it, but there was something. But so these Sith this Sith lady comes down and she's got this umbrella lightsaber, and I fucking at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but then it started to spin, and I was like, never mind, I know how I feel about it, and
I'm
I feel
seeing a
that it's
lot of
really
chatter.
cool.
I have to feel like a lot of people don't know how to feel about that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's it's a bit over the top.
It's a bit over the top, but you know what made it work for me is that it's an attachment. That when she pulls it off and it's just a regular lightsaber, I was like, all right, I'll buy it.
I see that made me like it less
Really?
when she did that because it just made me think of like like you get the shower attachments for your bath tap or like a sprinkler attachment or something. It's like okay, so you can put the lightsaber into this thing and then it like multiplies and like projects more like blades of
I
of
think that works
lightsaber.
because that's how Kylo Ren's lightsaber works. Is it's got the vents on the side because the kyber crystal's cracked. The crystal's fucked up.
How powerful is that one lightsaber have to be to then like make like eight other like full lightsabers? They're not just like little wrist guard blades. They're like full on like you
Yeah,
know.
I think the lightsaber, like the mechanics of the lightsaber, they play pretty fast and loose in these episodes. Like episode three,
Yes.
that's not how lightsabers work.
No,
You
I've
know,
always wanted to see that though.
but
I've
it's
always
still
wanted to.
fucking really cool. It's really cool. So I didn't care. I was like, that's all right. I'm cool with it. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
it's non-canon. We get to see some cool shit.
yeah, the logic of it didn't take me out too
No.
much, but I don't, especially not as much as I'm seeing some people like making memes of the umbrella shit. We just had a
Yeah.
comment with the Mary
Mary
Poppins.
Poppins. Yeah, I like that though. I like that. I imagine if it'd been Michael Rooker. I like that. I like the fucking Ronin dude being like, fix the droid before the water boils or whatever, and
Yeah,
then he
that's
just
great.
walks into the town like he's walking by all this chaos that's unfolding as the people are trying to fight back.
There's some great stuff. There's a dude with a minigun, and she just cuts
Yeah,
that fucking minigun up, like shreds it,
there's
like chicken. It's amazing.
there's some great Trandoshan representation in this episode, which is weird because Trandoshans are always kind of like displayed in Star Wars as like just kind of being these like hunter, like carnivorous kind of reptile lizard things that
Yeah,
are they're usually the bad guy when they show up. But it was cool to have this one that what I loved is first of all, uh really want an entire show based off that. And if you want more of the Ronin stuff, there's a book coming out in October based on that episode. Um, and I'm very excited for that. But like, I love that she pulls out the lightsaber and that guy's like, "Fuck, don't get close to her." Like, I love the logic of them being like, "No, don't let her get you close."
and then she says something about what's that about close quarters combat? Just
Yeah,
drags the
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
person over, and then we get like the Ronin guy steps in and he pops the lightsaber,
yeah.
and it he's we were just
He's
assuming like, oh, he's a Jedi. He's got the hood over. He's going to like bust out the green like a Luke Skywalker in
no,
Return, and he just pops out a red one, and instantly I'm like, fuck, we just changed the channel so hard
yeah,
in what's going on. At this point, I'm like, who am I rooting for now? Is it going to be some weird like political grey area thing where like you know who we see as like the bad guys are actually like doing the right thing and this guy's the fucking danger, like, and then we find out later on in the episode that no, apparently he's just might not even be a Jedi, just a force sensitive person who's just going around like just wiping out Sith, like like the
mm,
Punisher, like how the Punisher has like
fucking
the list of like the crime
yeah,
families,
yeah,
and he just
yeah,
takes them out and he's just taking
dude.
crystals from each one as a souvenir.
When he fucking
Oh,
stomped, when he stabbed the thing and he pulled the crystal out, I was like, "What's he doing with?" And then he opens his coat and you see all the crystals lined up there. I actually like gasped. I was like, "I can't wait to find out more about him in the book." I'm really excited
oh,
for
the
that.
book is actually that specific character. It's not
Yes,
just like
it's
that time period.
yeah. No, it's about the Ronin. It's about
So,
him.
so is that book going to be canon or?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll be non-canon as well.
Yeah, because they don't want to set up too much of a precedent of like, okay, things were a certain way at that point in time, and now we've got to adhere to that from
Yeah,
now on. But it could be so far back that it might not matter because this stuff looks like it could be like before, like what's the
the
book
Old
series?
Republic.
Yeah, the Old
Oh, the High.
Republic,
Well, the
the
High
High
Republic is the
Republic.
Buck stuff. Yeah, it could be way
Yeah,
before that. It could be like the hyperspace was.
it
Like, uh, the book is called Ronin, a Visions novel. So I think they're gonna use a Visions novel as kind of like, how there's legends. I have
yeah.
to assume if the show does really well, like Visions is gonna be another imprint for them,
Yeah,
which
so
I
we
think
will
I'm
get
all
more of
for.
these. So they'll probably do other books then. If they're doing a whole line, they'll expand, no doubt, on I don't know about episode 2 because that won't translate to a
Yeah,
book for some reasons it will get into. But
episode three I think would work really well.
yeah. But what it does really well, even though it leaves you wanting to know more, to see more, find out everything about like before and after, it's not like essential. Like you get
No.
enough of like flashback, especially in episode 3. I don't want to keep jumping forwards,
Yeah.
but they keep they keep you with enough there where you're just like, okay, I've got like a little bit of flashback, a little sense of like where these characters are moving on, and
Yeah.
I would be, it would not suck, but it would be. We want more, but we don't have to have more, and I wouldn't complain if they didn't give us any more of any of these
Yeah.
storylines because they're so well contained. But
Yeah.
damn, do I want more?
I want more so bad. I'm excited. I'm excited for that book. I'm excited to read that, find out more. I have to assume. I feel like the first chapter could cover the events of the short, and then it would go into like when they're walking off at the end of the short. I presume that's where the book will continue. Maybe get some
Could be
flashbacks
before,
and
man. We
stuff.
could see how he
Could
gets
be.
all of those
That's true.
crystals, like
That's
each one,
true.
the
Maybe it's
collection of
before
each.
and after. Maybe the
It could
fucking
be.
episode happens halfway through.
I mean, the collection of each one of those crystals could be a
Yeah.
whole book, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
or
It
it,
could be
it
some
could be a
crazy shit.
chapter, and that
Yeah.
could be an ongoing series of like, each Sith is like the big bad of that book, and then at the end they get murked,
Yeah.
takes their crystal, moving on. We get some great stuff in the waterfall with the log. I want to talk about this
Yeah.
log. I don't know why, but there's this moment where they've fallen down by the waterfall, and
Yes.
she pulls the log out through the waterfall to
Yeah.
split the
Yeah.
waterfall
That
to
was
see
really good.
what the fuck he's up to, and then he's got some weird little like statue monument thing in
Yeah.
there that he kind of uses as like a fake out. I want to know what that thing. I want to know what that statue thing is like. Everything is just like it's just so rich, but I wasn't sitting there like, oh well, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that
Yeah. Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
so I don't care. But I do care.
I do care. Whole just and then the fucking he has the second lightsaber or whatever that he has like the shorter one. I think that's what happened,
Yeah,
right? He like pulls out his second one and he stabs her with it.
yeah. He's got like a little one and just does
Man.
the old pie on the windowsill trick, as Black Dynamite would say.
It was so good. I really enjoyed it. Really loved the stuff with the droid and everything. What was your favorite bit of the episode? Like what was your there was a lot of really cool moments, I think.
Um, that shot with the minigun is just living rent free inside my
It's
head,
really
where
cool.
she just starts like, and there's a few other things like in that
Yeah.
piece right there where it's just like the thing comes out, starts spinning, and just shit just. I mean, excuse the pun, but shit just hits the fan, and we just carnage. And I don't, like I say, I don't know who to root for at that point. I'm thinking maybe, maybe these villagers are like, maybe it's like some kind of like imperial village and they're all bad guys, or maybe the dude's a bad guy,
Yeah.
and it's just chaos, both like morally and like action wise. And yeah, it's great. I can't get enough of that. Would you think the book will be in black and white, by the way?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah, I think my favorite part was I think my favorite like shot was the droid flying off and then it's got a bunch of missile launchers on it. That
Man,
was cool as fuck.
I thought I was going to hate that when it started because obviously people did not react
Yeah.
well to R2 flying in the
No.
whichever prequel it was, and
Yeah.
this is like even further back in time. And I was like, as soon as it started lifting off, I was like, oh, this is gonna look bad. But it didn't. It was just like, yeah, that's what the droid does, and it wasn't like overly like super powered. It just
No.
dropped a few things, created enough of a diversion for the rest of the elements to fall into place. And there's so many droids in this whole show, man, that
There are.
I'm hoping we get some of these droids. Like I'm really hoping just not even just the droids, but just in general that they cherry pick some elements from some of this stuff and do bring them into canon, specifically some of the
Yeah.
droids. What about that
Epis
lightsaber though
I
in live action?
I would like to see that katana saber though in live action, the one that the Ronin uses. I'd like to
Yeah,
see that. That thing looks cool.
yes. There might be more of those later on in the series.
Oh. Episode 2, Tatooine Rhapsody. This was the episode that I was kind of least excited for off the trailer. I was kind of like, this looks interesting, but I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I dug the shit out of it. I don't know how you
I
felt.
didn't I didn't watch the trailer. Okay, as soon
Yeah.
as I saw the title for this episode, I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Really? Like, is that supposed to be a Queen pun?" Like, I know they didn't invent the word Rhapsody, but
No, but
you see it, that's where your head goes.
yeah,
I'm like, is
yeah.
this going to be like some weird, like, operatic, like, musical centered episode, which it kind of is, not
Kind of is, yeah.
operatic, that's for sure. But, yeah. And then I see in the description of okay, it's Boba Fett and the Hutts are involved. So I'm like, how's this gonna play? Because it's not canon, so it's just gonna be like an offshoot. Obviously, with characters, the first one was so far removed. Like now we're actually going off the books with established characters, which is a risky move,
Yeah.
and it's very risky seeing as what some of the stuff that transpires later on in the episode. I'm looking at
It's
you, Boba Fett, tapping your foot and
I loved it.
and
I
head
loved it.
banging. Um, but yeah, man, to see the first ever punk band in the Star
It
Wars
was so
universe,
cool. It was so
I
cool.
lost my shit when they're like when, when they're introducing the instruments. He's like, oh, I've got the
Yeah.
double thingy wave
Yeah.
guitar and I've got
Yeah.
like the technical drum thing set going on with the triple dude. Um, and they kind of give you a brief explanation. And I wasn't just sitting there thinking, oh man, this doesn't like that doesn't work. That's just a guitar, you know. It it was just different enough and just the same enough that I believe that this band could be like out there working, the circuit in the Star Wars galaxy, and I would
Yeah.
believe it. I was so in love with this episode. Like Scott Pilgrim, just like eat your heart
Oh
out for this
yeah.
episode.
For
Like,
real.
and I recognize a bunch of these episodes are clearly like homage in certain styles. I'm not well versed in anime to kind of know what's what, but this one is just Scott Pilgrim. There's another episode that's kind of like I'm kind of looking at, it, thinking that looks like what I imagine My Hero Academia looks like, or that one looks like you know, that one looks like this or that one looks like that. And again, I won't go ahead, but yeah, ah, I was obsessed with it, and I'm genuinely invested in the big fucking green bass player,
Me
dude.
too.
I'm like, I don't want them to leave him. I want them to work something out. I want to know why they're after him. All of this stuff. I'm just like, within the first 5 minutes, I'm just in on all of it. And I should be hating the green dude. I'm just like, oh man, this dude
I
looks
was
like
so
fucking.
in.
There's an episode of Family Guy where Chris joins a band and he gets like the goth look and he's got like a eyebrow piercing and stuff, and it looks like this fucking alien, and that should have taken me
Uh
out of it, but it didn't. I was just like, yeah, they're a little bit stupid, they're a little bit goofy, they're a little bit whiny and emo, but fuck it, I believe that would exist in the Star Wars galaxy. Not everyone's going to be smugglers and bounty hunters. Not everyone's going to be like figuring Dan and the modal nodes who are in this episode,
yeah.
because even they're sold. And if the band in this, if the Star Wavers are a punk band, so because we only see like a couple of musical artists like within the
Yeah, we
in
get the
Star
jizz
Wars.
band.
So it's like, are they all just like the same kind of genre where it's just like classical jazz fusion with, it's like
You
no,
can say the
now we
name, Dean. You can say what it's called.
is that what it's
You,
called?
it's called jizz.
Is that the style? Is that can't
That's
be what
what
they call it?
that's what they call the jazz stuff that that Max Rebo plays is called jizz. You didn't know that? You didn't know that?
No. Does that mean that the punk band is actually like spunk?
It,
Um,
it, it
if we
might be, dude.
if we're gonna do a play on all these musical genres mixed with bodily fluids, like fucking let's do it. But even Figure and Dan are into this band, and I say they're like high class. Well, I don't say
Yeah.
high class; they're still working in Mos Eisley Cantina, but they're clearly more established on the circuit than the Star Wavers. Is it the Star Wavers? Feel like
The
I'm getting
Star
it wrong.
Waver. Yeah, the Star
Star
Wavers.
Wavers.
Run everyone. uh, yeah, so I forgot to mention at the top, this episode was done by Studio Colorido, they've done some Pokemon stuff in the past, I guess, which is interesting. But I wanted to highlight the voice cast for this really quick because first of all, the episode starts during Order 66, which is kind of crazy compared to what the rest of the stuff is, because that dude's a young little Jedi Padawan on the run from the clones at the beginning.
Right, of course, yeah, yeah. I didn't
So
put that together. I wasn't thinking about it chronologically that way
so
for this
the
episode.
the main kid Jay was voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
What?
Yeah, Geezer, the fucking hut dude that gets like kidnapped by Boba Fett. Um, Geezer's voiced by Bobby Moynihan. If I don't know if you know Bobby Moynihan.
I
Yeah,
know the name.
yeah. He was on SNL. He's done a bunch of stuff. I think he was on Star Wars Resistance.
I didn't expect to have any names like in this that I recognised. So any name that kind of sounds vaguely familiar is a surprise to me. And
Well,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, obviously, pretty cool.
Tamora Morrison voiced Boba Fett in this.
I
I
was going
mean,
to ask.
yeah,
That was one of my
yeah,
questions. Was it tomorrow morning? It didn't have to be because it's a different time period. I wouldn't have minded. If you're not going to get freaking Dave Bautista to do Drax in What If, I'm not going
yeah,
to expect anything at this point. And especially if this isn't canon, it's even less required to actually use them in this.
yeah. The
But man,
droid, the droid K344 was voiced by Shelby Young, who I don't have a lot of experience with her, but she played Leia in the like Forces of Destiny show that they did on Disney Channel,
okay, I
whatever.
still haven't seen that.
I haven't seen much of it either. But Lan the drummer, was voiced by Mark Thompson, who's the audiobook narrator for like all the big Star Wars books.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he reads like pretty much almost every adult novel that Star Wars releases. Mark Thompson does the audiobook for.
Is that the joke? Is that like a meta joke then? The fact of he's like plays three characters all
I
in one
guess, yeah.
character because he's just always doing like the voice for every character in the books. And when that dude starts fighting and they all start fighting, slapping people around, in the bar at the beginning there, that's some great stuff like triple form boxing or something. Some fantastic stuff. Um,
This awesome. I could do a whole show about these guys, about this band. I think that'd be fun as hell.
Yeah, they got like a flying spaceship tour bus. Like,
Yeah.
we could have a whole thing. It could be like Scooby Doo. They travel around in their van instead of solving mysteries. They're playing gigs, and it could be like that Lost Stars thing where they're just
Yeah.
like they're in the
There in the background.
background of like
Yeah.
every time like after Luke like finishes slaying up Jabba's palace, they come in and like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Whoa. Yeah. That would be really, really good. Echo Base, you guys have been great tonight.
And then like the last gig they get is like on the it's like on the second Death Star or something.
Second Death Star, you've been great. Were they related to the band in New Hope? I don't think so. I don't think these guys were related to anything that came before.
No.
It's pretty different for Star Wars. Also, continuing on the lightsaber stuff, Padawan turns his lightsaber into a microphone, which
Yeah,
I
that was
really thought
fun.
he was gonna have to use it at some point because it looked
I
like he was
thought it.
ready to.
I thought it was going to be like a double cross where they were going to like have a plan where like we're going to pretend that we're going to play the last song, and then we're actually going to do some other kind of mission. And then when he says, "Nah, we're gonna play like one last song," I was like, really? Like they're all just committed to like they're all gonna die just to play one last song. It should have been an eye roll, but I just believe that they were just like,
Yeah,
like they're teenagers, like yeah, we're gonna die for our rock and roll,
I love it.
and not really like fully understanding like the level of like shit that they're getting into. Like this is Jabba the fucking Hutt and Boba Fett, and
Yeah,
they don't even, but they've got none of that baggage. They don't know who Boba Fett is. They
I
haven't got
loved
that
it.
fear of God put in them from 30 years of media
Yeah,
history.
yeah,
And even Boba
man.
Fett's on board, man. He dug the band,
Yeah,
and
he was he
they
was
did
heads up.
they saved them. The music saved us all. That song was pretty fucking good. I
It
hope that's
was
if they don't put that song up for download, like that is a missed
what
opportunity. I would buy that song.
now. I need to see if there's a Visions soundtrack on a score on Spotify because I want to talk about the music here for a second since this is the music episode. Really, I think really great music in the first three episodes. Like it uses just enough actual Star Wars music to have like
Yeah,
to ground it in the Star Wars universe, but also not overloading on it.
yeah. There's a couple of moments where it, and I don't know if this is in these early episodes or maybe it happens again in later episodes. I say all blurs in, but there's a couple of moments where I think, oh, they're about to kick into like straight up into like the Force theme, and
Yeah,
then they don't. But it's
yeah,
still great. I was a little bit bummed out. There was once or twice
okay.
where that I thought they really like the. I would not have minded if they just full
Let it
went
go.
on Force theme, yeah. Because there's a couple of moments that des- would have been deserving of it, but I
It
wasn't disappointed. It wasn't like it didn't feel like cheap, like video Star Wars video game music for
no,
like bobblehead racers or whatever. You remember that game?
yeah. Um, it
Super
was
Star Wars Bombad Racing. That was the name of it,
yeah, yeah. It
I think.
wasn't Kevin Kiner. It was who did the I know they
Is it the
announced it
same
recently, I
composer
think.
for the whole thing, or is it different?
Uh a bunch of different people did different episodes.
Because it does all sound like each episode is different enough, but it does all sound like unified as well in a way. So I don't know how much communication there was between these different studios on certain things, because there's a few things, not just the music, where it's like, okay, I could see how that lines up with that, and maybe there was like small amount of communication on everything but the actual stories themselves, with like the
Yeah,
technical side of stuff, which I thought was great.
it looks like it looks like there were like 7 or 8 different composers.
Okay, so less
So,
composers than there are episodes. So there's definitely some
yeah.
cross pollen. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Um
It hasn't
yeah,
bothered me yet.
I dug the hell out of that second episode. I'd watch an entire series about these kids going around, and I think it could be such a fun series. Like like you said, like it could be a Lost Stars thing, and it would be so cool to see them go to like Naboo or go to Alderaan, and because we're pre it blowing
Yeah,
up.
man.
I
Like
just we
we
could
could
go
see
all
them
over the
develop,
place.
as like how their careers build, and they go from playing like shitty little cantinas to eventually they are playing in fucking, what's the capital in Naboo called? It's Theed, not
Theed, yeah, Theed.
Theed. So and then eventually they're like playing for like royalty and Theed, Alderaan. Let's get out of there
Oh,
quick.
yeah,
But
yeah. We're not saying for a second. No encores. No encores tonight. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
why? What do you know?
Don't worry about it. No, don't ask questions.
Yeah,
Um,
you could aim that show younger as well. That
yeah.
could be, but it would
Get a
still
good.
bring.
Oh God, who? Okay, so let's say they do this. Okay, I'm gonna pitch you a show right now. All right, I'm pitching you this show. Is they do this show. 10 episodes or something, and they get some punk music band to do the songs for it. And they do
Ooh,
one song an episode. They do like a 10-song album for the season. What band would you want to
I
be
mean,
like behind it?
that's brutal because you're just going to remind me how like out of touch I am when I start naming bands that are like not cool for the last 15 years. But
Anybody, anybody.
but off the top of my head, you know who would love to do some spacey Star Wars punk rock music, and that's Tom DeLonge. He likes some
Oh yeah.
space. Let's get Angels and Airwaves doing this soundtrack. I
Oh,
could
that'd be
see that.
awesome.
Wouldn't quite
I'd be
fit with
down.
the style that we get in this episode, but the band's got to grow, man. They can't just
Yeah,
stick to the
yeah.
same sound from their first album. We've got to express our musical influences in new and exciting ways, and then the band's going to have creative differences. They're going to split.
There's gonna be like some outside money coming in at some point.
Yeah, like maybe
You know?
Jabba wants to keep them working for him because they go over really well at the
Yeah. But
thing.
Bail Organa's offering them a lot of money over on Alderaan. You know, it's big decisions in this
Their currency's
children's.
not going to be worth shit.
They still have like 19 years for this, or 18 years or something for this currency to be worth it. You know?
Yeah, no, that's fair. They still got some stuff in there. Now, when they first
And
stepped into that stadium, I was like, oh, they're going to be like opening for like a pod race. I thought
that'd
that
be
would have
cool.
been cool.
You could do that in the show. That's the show, dude. That's one of the episodes. They're performing during a pod race. Like that'd be fucking cool as shit.
They need to bring back pod racing in Star Wars, okay?
What if
Like,
what if they're performing like literally during a pod race? Like somebody is driving them along the track and they're like on a fucking
like
they're
full
like on
on
a
like
like
Mad
a
Max
parade
Fury
float.
Road shit going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, and they're
Guitar
playing
on the
like while
back of
they're
a fucking wagon and like
yeah,
dang.
yeah, exactly. That'd be cool as shit.
Fuck it. Give me Mad Max Star Wars Road or whatever.
Oh,
Let's
that'd be awesome.
go.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Absolutely. Just Mad Max Star Wars Road. I haven't
All
got a
right.
cleverer title than that,
All
really.
right. Guns N' Roses performed at Jabba's palace. I really dug this episode. I really want to see more. And I think it's such an easy one to do more of. And I think we could
Yeah.
really aim it younger, which would be a big selling point, get a nice family friendly show. Because really, I feel like the shows on Disney Plus so far have been pretty dark. Even Bad Batch felt kind of
Bad
dark.
Batch was very surprising in that sense to me. I mean, I suppose it kind of had to in a sense because it's leading off of Clone Wars, where it's
Of
like
Clone Wars, yeah.
where they like start light, and then as you know the audience is aging with the show, they just naturally get darker. So it would have been weird to then go lighter in the tone. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that makes
when your
sense.
core audience are now like 25, and then also plus with the time period that it's happening in. But we've not maybe that. Do you think like Resistance kind of that's what Resistance tried to do? Maybe that
That's
scared them off a little bit. I don't think that was the problem
No,
necessarily. I
that was
didn't.
not the problem with Resistance.
I,
Problem with Resistance is they dropped it in a time period where they weren't allowed to tell stories yet. They were like, let's put it in the sequel trilogy, but we can't actually like do anything in here because we're
yeah,
still making movies. But Resistance, I still think Resistance was fine. Like, I don't think it was good. Like, I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. I didn't
it
think it was
looked
like
fun,
great or anything. It's like fun, yeah.
and I like I thought the animation looked cool as
Yeah,
well.
it did.
So
And it was like a racer show kind of. It was cool. I dug it. I dug it.
yeah,
And then the second season was a lot different. It was very very weird, but I liked it. I dug it. Um, episode 3, The Twins. This was by Studio Trigger. Okay. Studio Trigger is a big animation company. I mean, I when I told my friends they were doing well, they were one of the studios involved in Star Wars Visions, my big anime friends. They were like, oh, "Fucking Studio Trigger's doing episodes." I mean, Studio Trigger did I don't think Dean has seen Resistance. I watched Resistance. I liked it. I think I was disappointed at first, but then I realized it wasn't trying to be Rebels or Clone Wars, and I kind of was like, this is what it's trying to be, and I liked it for what
yeah.
it was.
No, I
I don't think
didn't.
it's I don't think it's anywhere near the level of Resistance or Rebels or Clone Wars, but I thought it was fine.
like you say, they weren't allowed to really tell any
No.
meaningful stories. I didn't really watch the show. I saw like clips of it here and there. I just really dug the animation. I really dug the vibe. It had heavy Red Tails vibe, which is a George Lucas movie. You know,
Mm.
it's got that racer fighter pilot World War Two kind of thing, and yeah, and I like I say, I just like the style of it. I thought it was a nice change visually from Rebels and Clone Wars and Bad Batch, which is all just looks the same. Call it
Mm.
space, but I mean, it doesn't look bad. It just all of that stuff looks the same. And seeing in this show now just highlights that how like the
All
different
those different styles.
all these different styles just lend themselves to completely different things and possibilities. And yeah, I think maybe diversify the portfolio a little bit for the Star Wars animation. But we've
I
not really
dig it.
had any other animated shows announced, have we? This is the only one,
No.
and Bad Batch season two. So
No,
maybe they're really focusing on the live action.
I think Star Wars, like, this is a whole other conversation. I think Star Wars animation has been, like, ever since it started, it's been right up there with live action as, like, the heart and soul of the franchise. So I'd say it's as important to me as the live action stuff is. So I'd love more animated Star Wars, but I do want to get back onto Studio Trigger because they did
Hmm.
Kill la Kill, which is a really popular anime. They did, and they have also done a bunch of other stuff. But the only other one that people, if you're not a big anime person, you still might have heard of is Little Witch Academia, which is a pretty big. Also, Darling in the Franxx is another one that I've heard about, but
Is Little Witch Academia connected to My Hero Academia? Or is that just
it's
a
not.
coincidence?
It's not.
I'm a
So,
noob.
Manny, man, I could talk about that all day long,
Mm,
but I can't. We gotta get into episode 3. You said Star Wars, I think, needs to do less live action, more animated. Um,
yeah, we'll
uh,
see.
Episode 3, The Twins. This one was wild as shit. I keep saying that about every single episode, but it's true. It's true. This episode was so crazy. And I thought the music was especially good in this episode. I liked the characters. I'd love to see more of these characters. I love the concept of the Star Destroyer with, like, the fucking thing in the center. The Gemini Star Destroyer, whatever. I
Yeah,
loved that. Oh
the
man,
double barrel Star Destroyer. It's just
yeah.
and it destroys planets. Now this is what you don't want in canon, but
No,
you know, but then I would have
I don't
preferred.
know, man. I would have preferred that to the fucking little guns on the bottom of the Star Destroyers in Rise of Skywalker.
This is what I was going to say. I would if
Yeah.
they would have done something like this instead of another fucking planet,
Little one cannon, little.
just a just a planet destroying. What's the fucking thing called in the Force Awakens? The Death Star ripoff.
Oh, Star Killer Base.
Starkiller Base. Like I would have preferred something like this than
Yeah,
that any day of the week. It was,
yeah.
it's similar enough. It's kyber crystals. It's people love them Star Destroyers, man. You know,
Which is that the first time in, like, a Star Wars thing? Oh, maybe do they talk in Rogue One about the Death Star being powered by kyber crystals?
I believe so. It has
Do
to
they?
be.
It
They
might have been.
Galen has to mention it.
He must.
Because it does kind of go into like what he was doing, and that's a
Because
big
they fucking
point.
don't in Force Awakens. They don't mention shit about kyber crystals powering Starkiller Base or anything. Like, and they don't. So just
If
Starkiller. This
Yeah.
episode really goes into how strong kyber crystals are in a really cool way, and a way that is like, probably don't want this to be canon because I think this is going a little far with what a lightsaber can do, but and what a kyber crystal can do. But
Yeah,
I
I
thought
mean,
it was
not
really
just
cool.
that, but kind of a big point of contention in Bad Batch and Mandalorian is that they're trying to clone Force users. That's we know that's where they're going. We know that's what everyone wants to do. And in this episode, we're just we just pumped them out. There you go, twins, two of them for the price of
Well,
one.
and that's the Rise of Skywalker connection. The people that are around there when they're being cloned look exactly the same as the cloners from Rise of Skywalker. Like, they have the same robes and, like, the wraps around their face. Like, it's the same.
But yeah, so we know that they want to get there, or they kind of have been there. We haven't had all those details like ironed out. Like we know, look, we get Snoke eventually, and
Yeah.
but a lot of that process is just still being revealed
Hey,
to us.
we got fucking oh, what's the name of the mountain in from what's the name of the mountain from the fucking Thrawn trilogy that we saw at the end of Bad Batch season 1? There's a
You're the
whole
one who knows.
I don't know. At the end of Bad Batch season 1, I can't think of the name of the facility for some reason, but it's a big plot point in the Thrawn trilogy, and that has to do with cloning. Bad Batch introduced it, so
Yeah,
I mean,
and this
they're
this
working.
episode, it has the most like anime. This is the most like when I think of anime, this is the shit that I think about. I grew up watching Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z,
Yeah,
you know, and that mainstream stuff. And this is that. I wasn't cool enough for the edgy, like ancient Japanese stylized stuff or the cool, quirky indie Scott
yeah.
Pilgrim shit. This is what I imagined we were getting, and damn, did we get it? Like,
So
go on.
I say, how do you feel about them like fighting in space?
See, I'm surprised that I haven't seen any contention about this online, although I haven't really
Well,
tried to look at anything yet. But
everybody fucking moans and cries about Leia
the,
fucking whooshing
yeah,
in Last Jedi.
the
The
bombs
bombs,
drop in, and is there
they're fucking having a
explosions?
full-on fight in space.
Yeah, but then
They're
don't we
just
see this in Rise of Skywalker, right? Like Finn and
well,
all the
they're
the
not really in
resistance.
space though. They're
They're
like
on the
in they're like upper atmosphere.
they're
They're
on
like
they're on a
they're
ship, and it's black with stars in the background. As far as I'm concerned, they're in space, and
they're not quite in space, but they
and
still could have just turned that shit on its side and fucking woo. It all
yeah, that
pull
was
off.
weird. But I kind of assume that ships that big might have like a little kind of pocket of around them where like you can survive a certain distance outside of the ship and not because that
Mm,
same logic would apply to Leia,
well,
right? In Last Jedi.
yeah, isn't that the point of the fucking blue ray shield things though? In the hangar, it's to keep the oxygen in. Whenever they've got those shields on the hangars.
I suppose so. I mean,
Otherwise, you
again,
wouldn't need those.
well, mm,
I mean, I don't give a shit. It's a fucking Visions what if. It was just for a cool, but I'm surprised I don't see more people complaining about it.
yeah, it crossed my mind, and I was like, they went out for a second, like, and then the other one follows him out, and then like it just goes on, and then her helmet comes off, and his helmet comes off, and at this point, they built me into it enough where I was just like, yeah, fine, this stuff looks sick, I'm not going to question it, and I'm sure there will be some people questioning it, but will they really be questioning the fact of a Sith Lord and a Jedi breathing in space, or they be questioning the fact that it's a strong female character? I don't know.
Ooh.
She's breathing in space, man. She's a Mary
Ooh.
Sue. You can't do
Ooh.
that.
Oh, Dean calling out the Star Wars fandom. Out for blood tonight. God damn. Holy shit. No, you're right. You should say it. I love in this episode the lightsaber that Kare has. I think that's how they said his name.
Again,
Kare.
I don't remember anyone's fucking name in this stuff. I love them all dearly, and I'm super invested, but I just don't know, and I don't need to know
His
at
was
this
cool
point.
because it was like white, but it started a little violet at the hilt. Did you see that? It started with a little color at the hilt, and then it went up into like a different. I thought it looked so cool.
Oh man, but this stuff with with like the stormtroopers, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I'll be fine, and he just like
yeah.
opens the door, and they're all there waiting for him, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, why is it like, what's with the descent? Like,
What?
where did they split? What we got? Breaking
Okay,
news.
okay, Dean. Are you ready? Are you? I want you to fucking. I want you to hold. All right. Who voiced the kid, the young guy, the boy twin? Who do you think it was? Throw
Okay,
me a
well,
name.
based on your reaction and the fact that we had Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the other episode, um, hmm, not Michael Cera, is it? If I find out it's Michael
No,
Cera,
no.
um, go on,
Damn,
hit
this
me.
isn't. Neil Patrick Harris.
Fuck off!
Neil Patrick Harris voiced the fucking yeah. And you want to know who voiced the girl? Who fucking take a guess?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
No, Allison Brie from
Eh,
Community. Yeah, I really liked her in Community. Uh,
I realise I'm just guessing Scott Pilgrim actors now, but it's on my head.
dude,
And I thought
I'll
Mary
save
Elizabeth
it.
Winstead was a valid guess.
I'm gonna save it for the rest of the episodes that we cover. But this cast list is kind of crazy. There's some kind
Yeah,
of crazy
I
people
haven't
on
looked
the
at any
names
of
of
that
episodes.
stuff,
Don't
and
don't. We'll do it on the show. We'll do it
no,
on the show.
I can't
But
wait.
fucking Neil Patrick Harris. That's crazy. He can't always be a doctor. Yeah, sometimes he's got to be trying to sleep with like every single woman in New York.
I recognised that. I thought the voice sounded familiar, and
So did
I was
I.
a big fan of the. I love the Neil Patrick Harris Spider-Man animated
Yeah,
series,
yeah, yeah.
and it's very much that voice that he's, that it was probably was in the back of my head, reminding me of that. So that's pretty fun. And I don't know, do we get any bigger names than like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and like, or is it all like that level, or is like Robert De Niro going to be in like
I
episode
no,
6 or something?
there is a pretty big name in the last episode, but
Okay,
for the most part, it's kind of all that level of name. There's some Marvel actors later on. Not huge Marvel actors, but recent Marvel actors.
yeah, like Kat Dennings or something.
Um, Cat Dennings.
I don't know.
How'd you feel about the lightsaber battle in this one?
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty
Um,
cool. I feel like I was a little let down after the Ronin episode, the duel,
yeah, it
because that one I thought that one was really
yeah,
fucking cool.
but it's so
It's
different
different.
that
It's very
you
different.
can't.
Yes.
And we get that whole thing of like, there's probably a name for it. They do that classic thing where you get the shot of the one character coming in this direction, you get
Yeah.
the shot of the other
Yeah.
face coming in this
Yeah.
direction. Like, I'm waiting for like the Street Fighter like versus thing to come up on the screen and
Waiting
all
for
of
like a
this
Dragon Ball
stuff.
Z, like boom, right in the center, like a fucking.
Yeah,
Uh, I love it when he slams the fucking kyber crystal into the lightsaber and like that shot is there's a lot of there's a lot of energy to all of this, like the
yeah.
camera
She
work.
sticks the thing in her.
Yeah,
Oh,
in her
you mean that
suit.
kind of energy? I'm talking actual like
Oh,
energy.
there's also a lot of actual energy as well, but there's a lot of visual energy in the way that it's all presented to us. And
Yeah, it's
I loved
kinetic
it.
as
I loved
fuck,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I expect from anime as a noob. You know, I I'm less versed in the slow, moody, meaningful shit. Which, no spoilers. We the next episode kind of goes. The episode 4 goes back into that direction. I think the pacing is very, very good. How we get like a little bit of this, a little bit of
Yeah.
that. We kind of coming up and down in waves. Unlike Marvel What If, where it's just like we're just gonna throw like a stupid jokey episode in at episode 7
And
after
for
like
some
two.
reason, that's going to
Yeah,
be the most relevant one in terms
yeah.
of the overall plot so far.
And then
Somehow.
after having like two of like the darkest episodes like right before it,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of rhyme or reason, but this one it's like you're getting a little bit of that, a little bit of that. It's like a nice little buffet of emotions. So that's fun. Can't wait to talk
So,
about the next three.
yeah, yes, yes. So do you think what do you think with this one, would you like to see this continued in like an animated show format? Or I was almost thinking maybe like an anime movie would be better for this story to
Man,
continue.
if they're doing like a novel series for the Ronin dude, let's do a fucking manga series of this shit,
Oh,
man.
that'd be cool as hell. Yeah, if they did a
Like,
manga about this, that'd be great.
they've
That'd be some
been
good
very
shit.
cool. And this episode is what I was referring to when I'm saying how like we get the flashback and the build up to like how
Yeah,
these two characters, like where they come from, how they're created, what the the conflict is and how that come about. And we kind of
yeah,
see it all in like flashback and montage, but it's not. like too choppy where it's just like, oh, that, you know, underwhelming, but also we I felt like we got the whole story, but also I would
Yeah.
still happily watch that whole story play out in a more traditional, you know, linear sense. And I'd take this as a manga, I'd take this as a series, you know, I'd take this as a fucking 180 part text adventure on a floppy disk. Yeah.
Be a cool video
Like
game. It would that is be a cool fucking video
now,
game.
yeah. And again, I want to say the comparison, but the Scott Pilgrim video game is
Yeah, yeah,
incredible
yeah,
and something like that. And if it doesn't have to be canon, like, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I was just like, oh, well, everything's got to be canon now, and it's pissing me off that they're like contradicting stuff from like
yeah,
lesser
yeah,
things like the books and stuff, and now this was I thought it was going to be canon, then it wasn't, and now I'm just like, yeah, if that means you can just go off, then
yeah.
fucking go off. I'm all about it. Like, please. And a game that doesn't have to be canon would be nice because I feel like the reason that that's probably why 1313 got cancelled is
Probably.
probably because of like the canon stuff, just as much as like the company buyout takeover element of that whole shenanigans as well. But yeah, definitely give me more of this one. I want to, you know, you could have that as a campaign where you've got a two-prong campaign of like the good
Oh
side and the
yeah.
bad side.
You could alternate missions and shit, and you could like have them intersect and stuff. That'd be cool.
Like the Ultimate Spider-Man game where you got to play as
Yeah,
Venom as well.
yeah. That's a good fucking game. That's a good game.
Oh, animation style in that game, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful.
I, you know, I think 1 through 3 worked perfectly for this. I think we should try and cover. We'll do 4 through 6, and then 7 through 9. I think we should do two more of these,
Yeah, I think
and
that'd take us
really,
nicely. I
yeah.
do. Do you know
Um,
anything about the next
I
three
know,
episodes?
I know, I like, I can see the titles, and like, I know I can make guesses from the trailer about what they might be kind of about, but really, besides that, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else,
okay.
but
I,
it's,
I
it's
won't
good.
I won't
Episode 5,
promise.
though.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's so good.
I won't promise exactly when we'll do 4 through 6 because next Thursday I'm seeing Venom, so I can't do this
Ooh,
normal time. But Dean and I will I don't know if Dean you got any time earlier in the week to pop in and we'll do 4 through 6. But
likely, very likely.
we'll talk about that. For
Yeah, like
now,
Tuesday or something.
that would work fine for me. Yeah, I could do Tuesday at like the normal time that we do this.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good.
So maybe we'll expect Tuesday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll do 4 through 6, uh, and I'm very excited. I'm so glad that we're doing this because it was very last minute us deciding to talk about these. It
Yeah,
was
let's
just
throw
kind of
this
like
together.
we threw this together. There's no theme or anything, but I'm really glad we decided to do it. So
Yeah, I'm glad that I powered. Like, I'm glad that I watched these. I probably would have procrastinated on.
yeah,
I wouldn't have watched them if we weren't doing this. I mean, I would
yeah,
have done, but not with any urgency. And
yeah,
based on the couple of memes that have come out already with the umbrella shit, I
yeah.
guarantee we're going to see the breathing in space shit.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're going to be getting screenshots and jokes made about this for quite a while, and especially some characters later on in the series as well. I think are going to be pretty memeable.
Hmm.
So I'm glad that I pulled my lightsaber out. Can we just before we wrap this up? That's
Yeah,
one thing that bugs me. Do we really need to sheathe lightsabers in like
yeah.
sheaths? Like, because it happens a couple of times throughout this, and I'm just like, just turn the fucking thing off. They're
Maybe you
supposed to cut,
can't.
but they're supposed to
Maybe
cut
these
through
ones.
anything. How are you putting that into
Maybe they're best
like a
car
holster?
sheaths. If we get
Yeah.
NASCAR
And
shades, that'd be
if I'm
cool.
not going to complain about the breathing in space, I shouldn't complain about that. But it did irritate me that he puts it away into a thing. I'm like, is he turning it off as well? Is it like the toy lightsaber where it like goes up into the, you know, because like you would do that with the toy
Yeah.
lightsaber and you'd
Yeah.
pretend like you were like
Yeah, you have like your
doing the
hand there
thing.
or something and you're like pushing it in on your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I felt like they were doing or should be doing. I don't know, but it's
All
cool.
right. Yeah, we'll be back. Dean, where can people find you online?
Go and get me on Twitter, Dean. Twitter on Dean. I know I say it like that. Twitter on Dean Lewis 2099 and tell me how to pronounce words.
I'm on Twitter at Sean_AFK. This is on Merc with Movie Blog right now as well, but this is a Jcast Network show. I'm not sure what his Twitter feed is for that, so let me look it up. Again, I don't normally do this. Normally, I leave all this to Jay.
So is this
Um,
streaming on both channels? Is that
it
what's going
is.
on? Oh
It is.
wow!
We're
Hi
on both.
channels,
Yeah.
all the channels. I'm everywhere. You can't escape.
You can't. Yeah. Jay set it all up for us. So it's at the Jcast Network. There's some awesome shows on here. They do. Speaking of Schmodown, they do Go Get That Rose. They do. There's a really cool series that Jay's doing right now called From Birth to Schmodown, where
Yes, I need to catch up on
yeah,
these.
he's really cool.
They,
Where he's interviewing these Schmodown personalities and just talking about their lives. Really
yeah, I'm
awesome
waiting for
stuff.
that John Roker episode, man.
That would be nuts.
He's recorded it. I think he
Yeah.
accidentally released it and then pulled it off again. Um, so it's there, and I'm assuming like John Roker's like an old dude. He's been in this community a long time. So I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if that's going to be like an 8 hour long mini series or something. But yeah, go check out those shows, guys and girls.
Yeah, and we will see you guys next time. I don't have any outro music to play, so bye.